She take my money when I'm in need. Yes, it's a trifling friend indeed.
Balancing the budget is not an easy thing to do. Most of us have expenses that go far beyond what our income is. At the very least, there's lots of cool stuff we'd like to buy and we don't have the discretionary income in which to make those purchases. We've already heard how the average Canadian spends an extra 60 cents on every dollar that they earn. So this pattern of spending more than we make, it created a market for payday loan stores to appear on the Canadian field back in the 90s. Because it's nice to be able to turn to a place that will give us money when we don't have money, as opposed to those mean old places that don't give us money when we don't have any. A little research into payday loan use is quite shocking. Did you know that there are over 2 million Canadians who get a payday loan or a cash advance every year? And their loans total over $300 million. The debt on those loans actually totals over $1 billion. The average customer is between 18 and 34, and they have a regular salaried income. Most often they're an urban resident with some post-secondary education. To be honest, that sounds like about a third of our church. And not that there's anything wrong about using a service like this. Our culture demands that we go into debt, and not just for things like houses and cars. The cost of living around here is always going up and up and up, and we're having to borrow for simple things like groceries or household repairs. But we want to take a look at what the Bible says about borrowing and budgets. Having money is better than not having money, agreed? Given the choice, none of us would choose to throw money away. So why are people using cash day loans? A payday loan of $300 can have up to $60 of interest, which works out to an interest rate of an unbelievable 546%. Now that same loan on a line of credit would only cost you $4 or $5 on that first payment. We're literally throwing money away because it's a fix-it-now solution. We filmed this video on a 3-block radius where there were actually 4 different payday loan stores. There were hardworking people showing up to get money out instantly instead of finding a less costly way to meet their expenses. So we gotta find a way to make our budgets balance. It's an uncomfortable process. At the same time, it's a very necessary process. Spending is a lot more fun, but we don't want to end up every month getting to the end when our numbers don't match and our expenses are more than our income. Let's look at what the book of Proverbs has to say about that. Do you know someone who's got the latest iPhone but regularly misses credit card payments? Or somebody that gets a cash advance or goes and gets a school loan and then they end up with a new stereo or a new TV? I think we just read in Proverbs a fun new way to describe that person. So for some of us, balancing a budget is gonna look like this. It's figuring out those expenses that we didn't really plan on having that just seem to add up and eat into our budget, like the extra latte, making sure that we have the latest fashion. For others of us, it really might be making decisions between things that we really need and things that we feel we need. And if we're trying to make those decisions when the pressure's on and we're right out in front of a store like this, that's a battle we're probably gonna lose. It's a battle we have to win when we're at home, making a budget, sticking to a plan. Here we go. Cool. So having that Christ-centered view of budgeting, allowing the Spirit to help us make the right decisions, is the way that we want to go. Once we've figured out how to be content, we don't need to live with excess. Once we've figured out how to balance our budget, there's a next step that we want to make. And I'm going to turn it back to the communicators in the room to go on to point 3.